theme where I break down all the different mystical, paranormal, and ET experiences. And today we're kicking it off hot with my encounter with a gray alien and how it served as the catalyst that really just opened up my life to a lot more of the paranormal, the mystical, the ET, the UAP, and all the good stuff in between. And our exploration this December is going to be diving into more of those because I feel like it's important to let people know that it's a lot more common than others think. And in this age of disclosure, the more of us that actually bring this forward and share and talk about experiences, the quicker that we can actually get some global and universal changes going on. So thanks for tapping in. And let's get started here. So, setting the scene, it's 1995. I just turned 5, and we're in Everett, Washington. And it's important to know that I had zero exposure to ETs or any types of aliens. The only ones that I knew of were from the movies Predator and ET. So when it comes to the specifics of it being a gray, that's really important because I had no conceptualization or knowing or foreknowledge of what this entity is or was. So I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and in my bedroom, I'm on a bottom bunk. My eldest brother had left for college, so I was in my room alone, and I'd been sleeping there for a while, so it wasn't scary or anything like that. But I remember getting woken up in the middle of the night, and I look at the street light and see that it's shining, but I notice that it's really, really quiet. And the reason why that's something to note is because I lived on a really busy street, and notoriously my house was creaky and just old. So it was always doing that little just even to the wind that was outside. And the moment that I had a thought that, oh, it's abnormally quiet, the street light went out. And my room quickly became darker than it's ever been. And I know that's the part that really kind of like freaked me out in the initial like panic of just like, oh, that startled me. But the darkness in the room and how all the shadows just felt that much more dark and like black started to create like an eerie feeling. And as I'm kind of like looking around the room, I see that my closet is now like the right door only. So I'm looking at the closet like this. My bed's sitting across from it. So I'm looking at the closets, and the right door is now open about a quarter of the way through. And the reason why that's also really important to know is because I was a very particular child. I would put my toys away in very certain spots. I would close all the drawers, all the doors, and make sure my closet was fully shut. It was just one of those little things that I would do. And to this day, I still can't go to sleep without making sure that the closet's all the way closed. So, so I see that the closet's like a quarter of the way open, and the darkness within the closet is blacker than anything in the room. It is the blackest black to this day I've ever seen, and I've been in the mountains and the woods at night. It felt like beyond pitch black. So at this point, I'm kind of like, what is going on internally? But I start to notice that I can't actually make any sound. And this is where I kind of like rub my eyes thinking like, this isn't real. I must be sleeping. And when I open them back up, the closet is now all the way open on that right side. So just as the image, the thumbnail for this video, like that closet was just this completely pitch black. And the presence in the room starts to get really heavy. It starts to get a little bit more creepy. And then again, one of those little like wiping the eyes, like this can't be happening. I start to see a face just like this, staring from the other side of the closet. So it's like on this side in the vision of it. And at this point, the eye of it was just, those stereotypical gray, like the big almond shape. But I remember it being so black, it was just as dark, if not darker, than the backdrop in the closet, like that pitch black. And this is when things start to become like fully like heart racing, fight or flight mode. Like I feel my body freaking out. I can't make any sound. So a little bit more of that panic and fear sets in. And as I just cover, do the little kid thing, like covers up over the face. I should mention, that's the little kid me. It's for your visual to help with this one. So as I cover my face and open it back up, the face now is like fully in the center of the right door that's open. And from the image in the thumbnail that I provided in the description of the videos, it's a lot more smooth It doesn't look as wrinkly, and the nostrils weren't as prominent. And it had a lot more of a neutral than the kind of like a scowling face, like the thumbnail. And this is when everything kind of shifted in terms of I would say like my personal experience, because I knew I couldn't speak. I was very aware of that. Like I couldn't cry for help. I was frozen in fear, just in the bed. The only thing I could really move was my arms. And at this point, in all the kind of rustling and bustling of kind of covering my face and undone, I was actually directly across from it. So I was probably more so in like the middle or back end of my bed, just looking across, and we were eye to eye. And when our eyes met, I started to get the only way that I can like describe it is impressions. It was like imprints. So there was like an emotional familiarity. And this is all coming at me. Like it was just like, oh, hey, like, we haven't seen you in a while. Do you want to come with us? And I distinctly remember it was using we and us. And then it's like, let's play. And knowing that like the the emotional imprint and energy that was coming through was trying to say that is like, we've done this before. Like we've been like, we're friends. We know each other. We're familiar. And my innocent self was just like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to go with you. And as I try to just like, I can't see it. It can't see me. Child logic. I pull the covers up one more time and I open them and it's still staring at me. And this is when things start getting, I would say, even more amped up. The presence in the room felt intensified. It wasn't just like eyes of the ET that were looking at me. It just felt like there was a lot of, I would say, presence or energy of beings around just looking at me. And at this point, I'm like full body shaking, just trembling with fear. And it felt so intense that like the room felt like it was vibrating. My bed was shaking. And I just kept repeating at this point, just like, please go away, please go away, please go away, covering my face with the covers, please go away. And by about like the third, fourth, maybe fifth time, I noticed that the the face was getting like closer out of the dark slightly, and look again and just start like yelling it internally, like, please go away, please go away. And then the moment that I felt like the shaking and the trembling stop, I look back and the face was now again back where it started, like halfway, from the wall to like the closet and the blackness showing. The door was still all the way open. So this empowered me, emboldened me as a child self, and covered my face again. It just kept saying, please go away, please go away, please go away. And when I looked again, the closet had closed about halfway. The face was still there. It kept going, please go away, please go away, please go away. And so I did that again. And then the face was gone, but the closet was still about a quarter way open. I repeated that. And then the closet was fully closed. And then street lights went on. And at that point, I passed out. Like, I really don't remember even like screaming. I don't even remember trying to process anything. I just remember like street light went on and then like I just like collapsed. Whether it was due to exhaustion or not, it was one of those moments that truly like it opened something within me. And I can't say, other than what I said in the beginning, like the only negative effect that I've ever experienced was that I still to this day refuse and cannot go to sleep if like the closet's even like slightly open wherever I'm staying at. So I would say we kind of like fast forward a few weeks, and in the thumbnail there's a toy, because this wasn't the first time that I'd been attempted to be contacted or like enticed with play by something. And there was this, I don't remember where it was produced from, but it was like this toy that came out in 1993 and somehow it made its rounds again. So for my 5th birthday, I asked for this thing called like the voice bot. And it was this kind of creepy looking like mech thing that was a car that in a tank that turned into like a humanoid robot. And it had this voice that was very menacing. It was just like, I am voice bot. What is your command? And its eyes would flash and would kind of like move around and do like 3D circles and stuff like that. Like it was one of those things where it was the first early on of like voice activation toys. So it was kind of janky, but there was an on and off switch. And me being my particular self, I would always make sure my toys were off and put away. That's going to play a very important role in the moment. Where we fast forward probably like a month or two, because it wasn't quite Christmas yet, but it was definitely like colder out. And I wake up in the middle of the night again, just kind of like bolted awake. And out from the darkness in my room, in like the corner, that toy pops up going, "I am voice bot. What is your command?" And it starts eyes flashing in the dark. And I scream bloody murder to the point where like my dad runs into the room and he's like, "Peter, what's going on? What's happening?" And I go, the toy talked. And he goes to the toy. He looks mortified. Like I was a very observant child. So I notice he's scared. He looks terrified. And he just looks at it, kind of like puts the toy a little bit further away from the bed, like in the kind of like my room was oddly shaped. So it was like in a corner of a corner. And so he put the toy in the corner and he's like, just go to bed, go to bed. And when he left the room, I turned the light on and go check. That thing was off. He didn't touch the button. So that was one of those moments where for myself, it was like, okay, like, I don't want to play. No, 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 no. Please go away. And that was my first ET experience. I can't say that it was the last because my life since then has been filled with a lot more of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs back in the day. I've had quite a few of those, whether it be light, a physical manifestation, communication with ETs, in some settings, CE5, which is human initiated contact, and also I would say like a lot of sleep paralysis and things of that nature, where it's like being surrounded by that same presence and intensity. And all I got to say is, we're not alone. And whether it be demons or not, like I'm still not sure or sold on what all of that stuff is. But I know from my firsthand experiences that these gray ones are tricksters and that they try to like coax you. But from my understanding and from my personal experience with the spiritual path and unfoldment is that law of free will is incredibly important. And I think that was like my saving grace as a child. Whether or not they experimented on me and just took me by force and I just was blacked out from the memories, I don't know. But I think that essence of free will of like, no, I don't condone to this, go away, and kind of having that childlike innocence, I think that stands for something in this world. So I hope that inspires you. And if you'd like to get another little visual of playing back that little image of 5-year-old Peter, I hope that helps. But when it comes to ET experiences, the themes of this month is really just to embolden more people and empower them to speak your truth. We're in an age of disclosure where more and more things are coming out to the forefront. And the faster that we all kind of get on the same page, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this world that we can't explain. We should normalize it rather than make people feel wacky and wonkadoodle. That it's like, this is a lot of woo woo in the world and it's pretty valid. But unless we actually are able to explore it with open conversation and curiosity, we can never really understand the ins and outs to the whole cosmic game that's being played. Again, like, I don't know if these things are demons or not. There's a whole big, I would say, resurgence of people, with the Book of Enoch talking about the fallen angels. And I think that's something to think about here, where it's like, there's a reason why all this stuff was written down. But unless we, again, come with our knowledge now and everyone comes with their full experiences, we can never really figure this great mystery out. So I hope that inspires you to speak your truth. And I'm very curious if anyone else has any experiences. Don't forget to smash the like, and any questions or comments, I'd love to entertain them. But yeah, that one, to this day, that was like one of my first memories, like vivid, can draw it, play it out, play by ear, play by play description with it. And it honestly, like, it still brings up a little bit of like unnervingness to it because I don't know what happened after that. I think it's very strange that I, as a child, would just like pass out after that, but I just blacked out. Like, I don't remember anything. But I think that aspect of the presence and the intensity of it, and it was almost like a psychic intimidation. I think that's something to be said with that. So if anyone has ever felt that or feels that going on, just remember your power and your authority, because we're really here to reclaim that. And whether you speak the light of Yeshua to be in your life, or whether you call upon the authority of just God Almighty, Source got you back. And there's no greater power than that. And they bend the knee to that. So again, I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't have memories of getting probed or anything weird. But who knows? I'm always actually like had a curiosity to potentially unpack it, but I'm very particular with who I would do this type of work with in terms of tapping into like the subconscious and things that are locked away, just because I do know that there is a lot of sketchiness in that as well. So Yeah, it's inspired me. I know there's a lot of people that talk about like secret space program and all these other things, and like I don't have any knowings of that, but I have had very weird, vivid experiences of other ETs and other beings in my own like waking state experiences with different craft and different entities. So with that, we'll be diving into some of those other experiences as the month unfolds. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate you dropping in. Yeah. And I think the importance that I really want to reiterate is just I didn't know what a gray alien was. And I think I actually distinctly remember seeing something like that in high school. And I had one of those like my heart sank into my gut moments because it was someone's story of like them getting abducted and being on like an operating table. And I remember they showed, I don't remember if it was like History Channel or something like that, but it was like they showed one of the gray ETs and it caused panic and fear in my body in that moment. So that's something that just popped in real time, which is funny. Huh. Yeah. So there's definitely something there. And when it comes down to even stuff that they've talked about in some of the leaked like CIA papers and just different government documents that have been released through FOIA, that Eisenhower did some deal with some of these aliens. And one of those that was noted was the Greys, and that they have like a legal authority to test on people. And again, grain of salt with everything. But I find that's very interesting that, I know personally I've encountered dozens of people throughout my life. And one of my homies, and who was a producer for the album that I wrapped up last year, he had a really intense experience with Grays as well. And I guess one note of the presence that I can speak on with that is that we both kind of had a parallel, like, oh, I know what you're talking about, was when the ET would say like we and us, that's where it would feel like there was just dozens of them just watching. And I would say my perspective, it felt like they were almost in like a U shape across from me from the closet. Like I knew that I think it was more of a portal than anything. But again, who knows? I'm not the only one in my family who's had some suspect things of like entities inviting them to leave. My eldest brother actually had his story to tell when he's ready. But I find it very odd that the ones who have the best memories, the oldest and the youngest, we both have weird experiences like that. So this time I was left all alone, but we can all battle it with the love and light. So with that, and fruit of knowledge offer you a seed. And in that seed may your love, will, and intuition give life and nourishment. For a tree shall grow, and in its shade may you find peace, and offer peace to all whom ask. Namaste. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate y'all watching and viewing, and I hope that you have a great day and you have a great week. And I look forward to talking about the human-initiated contact next week. A little CE5 over in East Ranch, Trout Lake, Mount Adams. So you'll learn more about it next week, but I'm excited to talk about that one. It's not as scary. So with that, I love you. Peace.